What's good, everybody? It's your main girl Mel, professional hairstylist and curly hair specialist, coming off of the weekend of my life, an incredible weekend for my career. I went to Las Vegas for the first time, vivaing it up, where I got to share some of the best tips, tricks, and education that I could share with fellow stylists at the International Beauty Show. And now that I'm back and reflecting on the weekend, I wanted to share with you some of the key takeaways that some of my class attendees had. There were a lot of recurring questions from stylists that are not curl professionals, which we will talk about here as I style my hair. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first, I want to welcome anyone that is new here and finding me from the show. So happy to have you. And believe me when I say the curl community thanks you. Some of my most frequently asked questions from my audience here is, where can they get their hair done? Can I come to them, or who could I recommend for them? And for a very long time, my answer has been no one. Mostly because most stylists do not go through proper curl education, and unfortunately, I myself wouldn't sit in just anyone's chair. It's just a very sad fact that there is such a large gap in education focused on textured hair. But IBS, they were trying to do something there. They had a lot of educational classes that were focused towards curly hair care, so that was great to see. Specifically from me, the 3 classes that I taught were 1, a hands-on workshop. In this hands-on workshop, we were talking about vision crafting the curly cut for your clients. I always say the best part about having curly hair is the versatility that comes with it. But with curly hair and with a lot of the haircuts that are very popular right now, we know, a lot of people like to do dry cut. The community is actually quite divided, but here we give haircuts that are going to be versatile for any way that the curly girl wants to style her hair. So we'll get into how exactly we're gonna do that. Now, what does vision crafting really mean? Vision crafting is actually setting up a unique, customized plan for the client that's in your chair. It's all about how you're going to execute their hair based on all of their hair's characteristics. Jenna, the first question I would ask you is, how you doing? What are you loving? What are you not loving about your hair right now?
I just feel like I don't really have shape.
Shape is probably the #1 thing that a curly girl wants out of their hair, right? Because we have the ability, it's 3D, right? Curly hair, it expands. And so we want to build out a shape that is going to be both flattering and, like I said, versatile. Now, the biggest thing is that there is not one way to cut hair. Like I mentioned, I'm all about versatility. I want to give the curly girl the best hair of their dreams. They can wear it curly, they can even blow it out, because in the day and age that we are now, I'm noticing a shift that a lot of curly girls are wanting the best of both worlds. They're wanting to do a little bit of both. I feel like that's a really great gift that we can give our clients. And so that's what this haircut is going to do, unlike other traditional curly haircuts that have grown a lot of popularity. Hair can be cut with a variety of tools. You could use scissors or shears, depending on how you like to say it. You could also use a razor, depending on the texture that's in your chair. You could cut dry, I'm not saying you can't, but when addressing the most common needs of the curly client today, a lot of clients will tell you that they want versatility out of their hair. Shape while achieving length, those are probably the 2 most popular things that a curly girl wants. We have a ruler in our back pockets at all times. Our combs. So I always like to measure the curl, which you don't always have to do. Once you get the hang of it, you're usually fine. Being able to see how much a curl stretches, that's almost 50% of its length, right? So if you're cutting 1 inch, it's probably gonna jump up 2, right? Is that my math? Math makes me nervous. I start hearing numbers, I start sweating, but it's okay. I truly believe one of the greatest gifts that we can give to our clients with curly hair is versatility. So when we look at this hair, in Jenna's hair, you can see that there is already layering. Layering doesn't always build shape. Layering actually removes weight. Layering can take away a lot of weight and a lot of shape. And so when we're looking at this hair, you might see there's longer layers, and so there's a lot of volume in through the sides here. To achieve more movement, we would take out a little bit of weight. So I gave a curly hair cutting class that used scissors on wet hair. This is the technique I would choose 99.9% of the time if the client has a consistent curl pattern throughout their head, and no matter if they want to wear their hair curly or straight all the time, or half the time, whatever amount of time. Because here's the thing, when you're doing a haircut on wet hair, you can really create a solid shape in the hair while effectively removing all forms of split ends and damage, because you are getting that clean cut, as opposed to doing a curl by curl type of haircut, or one that uses no tension. So anytime we want to remove weight because it is way too heavy, we need to layer. Anytime we want to build up a shape, we want to use graduation. Building shape, graduation, low elevation, layering, high elevation to remove weight. We usually like to use a combination of both. If we want to achieve perfect shape, remove the right amount of weight, and give all of the movement and have hair that, again, still looks good if you like the hair straight. So utilizing different techniques to create different forms of shapes to create the overall look that we're trying to achieve that has volume, body, movement, shape, while maintaining length, because that's also one of the biggest concerns in the curly hair community. And so we talked a lot about that, but we didn't stop right there. To create a fantastic curly haircut, we also talked about refining the hair when it is dry, but we can talk a little bit about that after I style. The technique I just did on the bottom half of my hair is my famous ribbon curl technique. I used simple products that would give me moisture, definition, and then after we're gonna talk about occlusion and sealing, just for that serum-y feeling. But to recap on the product education, first we prep, then we style, and then we finish. The first thing I applied to my hair for this routine was this curl leave-in conditioner. This is a great lotion that I love to use because it's got a little bit of everything I want. It's got some hydrolyzed vegetable proteins, which curly hair thrives on protein. It helps with a lot of bounce. It's gonna give moisturization. It's got silicones in it that are both gonna protect the hair from heat, from split ends, also while giving slip so that you can easily glide through the hair. It gives UV protection, which we need in the summer, and it's very lightweight, very versatile for all types of curls. Now, of course, the amount that you use matters, and so we talked about how to figure out exactly how much product to use in your hair. And I'm gonna share with you how exactly we're gonna know how much to apply. This is what we're doing. The hair is wet. I'm gonna gather the hair in my hands, and this is gonna be a play on density. We're trying to feel how much hair the client has on their head. When I gather the bulk of her hair into, let's say, a ponytail, right, we're looking for the density of her ponytail. If I grip this in my hand to the point where it's just together, I'm not squishing it, and I'm not just, I want to connect my hands to where all the hair is evenly gathered. This right here, can you see me, camera? This right here is how much cream we want to apply to the hair. That's gonna be our moisturizer. See, I actually taught my styling class on stage. I called it Mell's Bouncy Boot Camp. This is Curly Bouncy Boot Camp with Mains by Mell. So we're gonna get ready to start styling. Because I really wanted to nail down that these were the basic essentials, the best tips and tricks that you would need to create a bouncy blowout for curly hair. But when I say blowout, I mean for the perfect wash and go, which is what I'm achieving here. Now that I've applied the curl lotion, remember how I measured how much product I put in the hair? This is how we're gonna cross-check that to see if we have just enough or too much product in the hair. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to gather the hair. I'm gonna give it a little twirl. If I see the product popping out, see how it's white there? If I see the product popping out, I can feel the product on the hair ever so slightly, not intensely. I feel that there's enough. And now I know that I protected myself from frizz. I'm gonna take some more of my product. I take about 5 pumps for the top section of my hair. And I talked about tools. A Denman brush is gonna make you look really nice and professional, like curly hair. Okay, your clients may expect you, like they won't be surprised to see you using a Denman brush. I feel like most people with curly hair at this point know what this brush is. They're using it, they've seen it on social media. As a stylist, if you want to deal with curly hair, it's best to have this in your arsenal for sure. It's a fantastic brush because of the shape. It allows you to really define curls. I mean, a weapon is only as deadly as the person that is holding it, the person that is controlling it. And so my biggest styling tip when doing the ribbon curl technique, besides taking the right section size, is to make sure that you're applying that tension by curving the brush into the hair to allow it to wrap, and also pressing your hand along the spine of the brush to make sure that those ends get nice and sealed and they don't look frizzy. So I'm brushing in at the root, I'm pressing the hair along the spine, and then letting it drop. And this is gonna give you this ribbony effect. We're gonna be taking these vertical sections, these vertical panels, we're gonna brush it out 90 degrees from the head, and I'm gonna go through this whole back section with my paddle brush in these panels, in these 1-inch panels. We're doing a 1-inch panel because our Charlene here has got a wavy curl pattern. Remember the spring factor we were talking about? Her spring factor was about an inch or 2, not too much. The diameter of her curl, if you were to take a spiral, you look at the diameter of her curl, it's about 1 inch wide. So the section sizes that I'm taking here are about 1 inch wide. We're catering the sectioning to the curls. If we had a coily client in our chair and the diameter of their curl was 1/2 inch, I would take smaller sections. Now the final class that I gave was all about rehabilitating curls back to health, restoring bounce, and even gaining curl confidence, whether that's in yourself to style curls or for your clients. Even if you don't have curly hair, this is gonna help you understand, what we kind of go through on a daily basis. I have a model that has some hair struggles. We're gonna do a consultation. We're gonna walk through real life experiences and real life scenarios of what people might be struggling with and how to identify the problems in the hair, set a plan to better the hair, and overall just build the trust of our curly clientele, because curly girls have trust issues. And some of the most important questions was, how can we bring curls back that have gone through the ringer? What I'll always say, I'm just finger coiling, okay? This is gonna help create all this amazing definition. This is one way to, fake and enhance the health of curls, but truly we need to clarify, condition, cut, and repeat. A lot of damage that is done to curly hair is done because we are not properly clarifying the hair. She's been feeling like her hair is very dull and that it's lacking shine, right? So when hair is lacking a lot of shine, it tells us what type of porosity the hair is, but it can also be an indication of how much buildup is on the hair. Buildup is probably one of the biggest concerns that our clients are facing, because a lot of them are either not using shampoo because they think that shampoo is very drying. They might be co-washing. I'm sure we've seen their scalps, and we need to reinforce the need for shampoo, because shampoo is so necessary, and even clarifying. So I think every client that comes into your chair should be clarified, because even if they are using shampoo, are they using it properly? Like, are they actually using it properly? We can try to show them, but no one can actually do their hair as well as we can in the salon. So we would start the process with a deep clarifying shampoo that would get rid of any buildup that she has on her hair, because that's probably leading to a lot of the dullness. So best cleansing practices, using a clarifying shampoo regularly. When I say regularly, I could mean once a week, once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month if you're very light-handed. But in order to restore curl back into the hair, we need to reset it with a good clarifying shampoo. And so I always recommend that we start appointments with a clarifying shampoo. That way we can focus on a proper conditioning routine that does also include oils, maybe even silicones, as these are the ingredients that are gonna help protect the hair from further damage, protect the hair from cuticle loss, split ends, so much more, all while helping the hair retain its length, which we do not have to sacrifice even if the hair is damaged. So setting up a plan of just a little bit at a time, if we set up, okay, every 6 to 8 weeks, you come in and we do little trims, that's gonna make your client feel heard, where if you tell them, oh, we've gotta chop it all off at once, they're gonna be terrified, because they might not be ready to accept the short hair life, right? So if you set up a plan and you let them know that, listen, your hair, it's not gonna take a day. It's not gonna take one Olaplex treatment or one K18 treatment, which of course we can do in the salon and we should definitely use as add-on services. But it's not just gonna take one treatment in order to get the hair back. It's a process. I've seen it take anywhere from 4 months to 1.5 years. And the hair comes back out of both growing out of the hair healthy, as well as nurturing it back to health. Enough will grow out, and enough has been cut off. You'll get to a point where the hair is in a healthier state, and your client will feel a lot better about that without having to cut their hair. I brought my own sister's hair back from a lot of heat damage in about 1.5 years. Now, she has very long hair. Amanda, can you stand up? Her hair has remained this similar length for a very long time. For a long time, it didn't look like it grew anymore, because as it would grow a little bit, we'd cut that little bit off. It grow a little bit, we cut that little bit off. As for the best products to use in the meantime, waiting for the hair to get better, moisture will help to address elasticity issues. So if the hair is very, very brittle, very dry, it's gonna need moisture. Protein will replenish strength in the hair. If the hair is very weak, very soft, and if the curl is limp, like it doesn't have a lot of bounce in it, protein will give the strength back to the curl. It'll bring back bounce to the shape of the hair. The power of clarifying, K18, a little Olaplex leave-in is something I really love as well, but also this type of squishing. These are all things that together will make the hair look that much better. Now, of course, we need to use the correct diffusing techniques, and so I'm going in with my famous hover diffuse technique. And this is going, can you still hear me? I can project my voice. We are going to hover, so we're actually not going to touch the hair. Don't touch it. When the hair is in the drying process, you must leave it alone until it starts to create that cast. You need to let the hair set. By doing this is like simulating a hood dryer or an air dryer. I like to flip them forward to get an extra lift in the root, or not just forward, but we're also gonna lift up, we're gonna flip back, we're gonna keep the hair moving very gently. So you never wanna be rough with it, right? You don't wanna touch it with your hands yet. We will, but not yet. We don't wanna keep it in one position too long. We want hair that moves in every direction, so we need to move it in every direction, all while just hovering. And this is, again, like hood drying, so we're keeping the root moving, so it's gonna give lots of movement, and it's gonna help to aerate the roots. Your root, they can take a very long time to dry. If we go right into traditional diffusing, if we're just doing this from the get-go, we're gonna create dryness on the ends, a lot of frizz, because we're blowing up the cuticle and blowing up the short little hairs before that product has set, and then the roots are gonna be wet. So we start off by hovering like so. This is my hover diffuse technique. We hover around the hair, just like a hood dryer, until we start to feel that little bit of a cast. You can feel it starts to get a little bit hard. That's our product setting in. So we're hovering around, and once that starts to settle in, it takes about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of hovering. Then if they want to enhance the curl, they want a lot of bounce, then we'll start to scrunch. But we don't want to focus too much on the ends. So what we'll do is, first of all, I didn't talk about heat, but the temperature I use is usually high. I usually use high heat when we are doing the hover diffuse to save time, because we're not directly touching the hair with any heat. So we don't have to worry about damage. We don't have to worry about burning the client's hair either, because we're keeping the safe distance. This is about 6 inches. And keep it circulating, keep it moving. We're toning our arms at the same time, right? We have the best arm, not me, but we have good arms, right? We keep it circulating. This is gonna keep the heat evenly distributed so that the hair does not, hair and the client's scalp does not burn. But then once we move to scrunching, because we're going to be a little bit more direct on the hair, we are going to turn down the heat to low, and we're going to scrunch and hold for about 15 seconds before we release and move to the next section. Now, once the hair is completely dry, it should no longer feel damp. There is a little bit of that crunchy cast from our styling product. We could actually just remove the diffuser, put the blow dryer on low, and fluff the root if we want a little extra volume, like so. And now coming back to that finish, we can take our oil serum. Mine is done. And you want to be very gentle when you smooth. Smoothing like this is helping to coat the strands, that protection. And then you can scrunch. Now I am a texture spray girl, so I'm going to take some of this. I'll link all of the products that I'm talking about in the description. And moving forward with product education, let me know what you would like to see. What do you need more help with? Because I do have another video idea upcoming that we can definitely talk about. And of course, so much more education. I mean, I've been a YouTube creator for 5 years now, so I have got hundreds of videos that anyone that's new here can binge watch. I'll put some of my most helpful ones in the description box below. This is also done. Wow, I need to re-up. Do you want to see an empties video? I've got quite a things that are near empty at this point. And just like that, I am ready to go. Ready to go back to Vegas. It was such a time. Not only did I meet so many amazing people, teach some fabulous classes, but I also got to enjoy the strip a little bit, ate some fantastic food, and I wish I was kidding when I said that me and Amanda saw the best show of our lives. We went to watch Magic Mike live, and all I'll say is the experience was 15 out of 10. Would watch again and again. I recorded half of it on my phone, and so that's what I'll be doing. If you know that my sister is getting married later this year, which means we have got some more bridal trials on the way, styling her curly hair as a bride, and her true bachelorette is just coming up. So maybe we'll share some of that on the channel as well. Until next time, leave your questions in the comment section below. You'll find the links in the description box, and you will find me in the next video each and every week. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.